why would you rape someone?
Like, why? Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Jane. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel and make sure to hit the bell beside to get notified of my future videos. So today I have some amazing people with me and I'm going to let them introduce themselves before we get right into the video.
Hi, I'm Prospect. Hi guys, I'm Benedict.
Hello guys, I'm Stephanie.
Hi guys, I'm Shinga.
Okay, now that my friends have introduced themselves, we're going to get right into the video. So today's topic, we are going to talk on rape culture, which is something that has been going on for years. Okay, I know that people talk about it all the time and it's a very sensitive topic, so I've brought my friends here today so they could, share lights on their idea and what they think about this and how we should resolve the whole situation. And yeah, let's jump right into it. But before then, what is rape?
I want to start by saying that I think that although our main focus is rape, we should look at sexual violence and sexual abuse as an umbrella term, because there's a lot of attention that is given to rape. But then, yes, it's wrong, it's bad, but then we should also talk about sexual violence as a whole. I don't know if that makes sense, of course, because that's all part of rape culture. Rape culture is definitely an umbrella term for anything that is involving sexual violence and sexual abuse and all of that.
What do you think transpires, before people think of violating others?
They are rapists.
I think it's demonic. Really, because some people say like maybe because of the way the person is dressing or something like that. I don't think it's anything related to that. I think it's like something built in. That is the devil. For you to see someone, be raping someone and the person is crying, you're still driving joy from the person's pain, going ahead with it. It's not about dressing or nothing. I think it's something, that person needs a therapist or something.
True.
Yeah.
I think using demonic or like devil innuendos kind of now just gives it an excuse, because someone will be like, I didn't really do it.
It was the work of the devil.
It was the work of the devil, but then they made the choice. They should suffer the consequences.
Yeah,
like they're rapists. Yeah.
Majority of the people that have encountered rape, it's like from home, like uncles, aunties, nannies. I feel like parents feel very comfortable that, oh, I can leave my child with my brother or my sister or nanny and go to work, and I feel like my kids are fine. You trust this person here. You probably don't see that this person can hurt your child. Do you think parents should be more cautious?
I think that at the end of the day, no one should ever expect someone to be a rapist, because no one should ever be a rapist. But considering the amount of cases and the amount of times that it happens whereby children are left with people that they trust and then end up getting raped. But then also, people sometimes don't only get raped by their uncles, they also get raped by their parents. I've seen stories of girls getting raped by their dads. So at the end of the day, who are you safe from? Who are you going to trust? There's no, the lines are so blurry. So you can say that parents should be more vigilant, but then what if the parent is the one who's abusing the child? So
True.
What are we going to do in that situation?
Stories of dad raping daughters.
It happens a lot.
Yeah.
So it's...
But I really don't know what gets, how can a dad rape?
Because he's a rapist, he's a bad person.
Wow.
But how do you even picture your child sexually? Like, it's crazy, I don't know.
When you see your daughter, your big crisis. How?
Okay.
I think it should be less about trying to understand what goes on in the rapists' minds and just condemning what they do and making sure that those people that do rape suffer the consequences, so that if ever anyone ever thinks about it, they don't do it. Like if it's possible, chop off their manhood,
True.
That's the only way. Do something so drastic. Slice it, feed it to dogs, do something, I don't know, make dried meat, make beef jerky or whatever it's called. I don't think that we should really focus on what goes on in their mind. It's bad.
How about male abuse, male sexual abuse? Like, people don't believe that boys also get raped.
People believe that boys get raped. People believe just that boys keep quiet about it.
I think it's because of the pride. for you to come out and say you're raped by something like that, how people will look at you, something like
And
that.
sometimes people think maybe the guy enjoyed it. I mean, because he enjoyed it, so why would you say like?
How about being violated at a young age by their nannies?
Yeah, of course.
I've seen something before where like a lot of boys were talking about how their first times, like most of boys lost their virginity like when they tell their stories, right? Of course for them when they're telling it, maybe they're telling it like in a sense of pride, like, oh my god, I was just 10, she was 19. Then when people come up, they're like, wait, this is actually sexual abuse. So because sexual abuse for boys is never really spoken about, sometimes it happens to them and then they don't know about it, so it's possible that they don't know it, and then the way that they talk about it, toxic masculinity and trying to convince yourself that the more women you sleep with, or if you sleep with older women, you're cool, or you enjoyed it, but then at the end of the day, low key, probably a child
It's hard.
exactly, which is always going to have an effect on you, an effect on your future relationship, on your future life. Like,
when rape victims come out and like talk about their experience, maybe years later, why is it that people always say, why are you coming out now to talk about it? Why didn't you say it when it happened? I feel like don't shut people up when they are ready to say their truth. Do you get?
I think it takes a lot to come out and say someone raped you, because first of all, there is 3 mechanisms about fear. First, people handle fear in different ways. People at the fight, like when you're scared, you fight for your life. Some people when they are scared, they freeze.
Yeah.
Like you just freeze. You don't know what's going on. And then some they flee. Okay, and for people that come out years later to say that this guy raped me, I think it's okay, because you don't know what this person passed through those years. A mental being to actually finally come out and say, okay, this person raped me.
And it must be very annoying seeing your abuser living his life freely,
Yeah.
enjoying himself every day. Maybe he's a celebrity now, he's
Most
a pastor,
times, yeah, most
and you're watching him enjoy himself, and you're just at home,
preaching the
dealing with trauma.
then when you see people coming out and telling their stories, it also kind of motivates people. That's
Yeah.
why we encourage people to tell their stories,
Tell the
because
story.
when one person tells their story, it encourages
Yeah.
another person to tell their
To
story.
tell.
So even if it's years later, trauma doesn't have
It
like
doesn't,
an
yeah.
expiry date. Something that happened to you 20, 30 years ago can still be traumatizing you. So
Exactly.
I don't think we should ever put a timestamp on after
When-
this time you can no longer say that you got raped, because you
Yeah.
did.
And they start asking for proof. What kind of proof?
Proof do you want the person to
do you
show?
want her now to open? What kind of proof do you need? It's 30 years later, 20 years later, everything that happened, you cannot produce more evidence now.
Yeah.
The thing that comes out from people's mouths is, what's the proof? Where's the proof? And this one is lying. All those type of things. It's very, very, very.
Yeah, it's a
bad.
setup, especially when they are like in the public eye. You're like, oh, she's saying it because I'm already famous. I'm now famous. They're just trying to kill my career.
A lot of men have raped women and gotten away with it. The consequences for this so-called setup that people want to claim, like this person wants to set up this person. People will talk about it today, tomorrow, 2 days later. People will move on with their lives. But what about the girl's trauma? The one who got raped, her trauma is going to last for so long. So why are you like, some people will be like, don't speak up on it, it's been so long, move on with your life. After all these years, allow him, he's not finally successful. That's when you want to start coming out with your story. But like, that doesn't make any sense
At all.
Yeah, and this rape thing can actually increase the risk for suicide. Some people will not see themselves
Some people
as
are not brave
worthless,
enough.
Their relationship will not even be going smoothly again.
Yeah,
When
cause
you're having your partner, even if they want to touch you or something, you remember that episode. You are not enjoying your life again, and people will not even know the reason for a lot of
People will
suicide.
say, why did you not speak up when he's not famous? The thing is, now that he's famous, you're seeing him now.
Every
He's in the
time.
limelight, so the trauma is going to be hurting you. So that's why they come out when the guy is already famous. I mean, because the trauma is already there.
and probably everyone is praising him on how he's such a good
Yeah.
man.
Good man,
He's
yeah.
never
This
done
one is
anything
so
wrong.
good.
And then you
True.
know that this person violated you in the most
Yes.
gruesome way possible.
Especially
For someone to be a
pastors.
rapist.
Especially pastors, the only
That one is the worst.
They'll come on live and start preaching and start talking about this particular matter.
Can we talk about these people that rape handicapped people and like young children that are like maybe 6 months old? Like Yeah, pedophiles. That's what they call them.
Explain that.
That is so disgusting.
That one is it's
You
terrible. Like,
legit know that this person is helpless. The person can't do anything, and you just violate them.
okay, pedophiles should be they
It should be abolished.
They should be
No, no.
castrated.
they should be castrated. I think it's not enough.
Did you guys see that thing where people were like, pedophilia is a sexuality, and
I saw it.
Do you think
Crazy
maybe
people.
like some people watch porn and then they want to?
What kind of porn?
I really do feel like porn does contribute to the rape
Yeah,
culture
it
a
does.
lot. It really
It
does,
does,
because
actually.
look at the way in which sex is portrayed in porn.
Yeah.
Right? There's always a level of abuse. There's always a
Yeah.
level of kink, and I'm not saying kink is bad, but then the type of kink that like the way they portray it to be, there's always a level. You will find porn headings. Look at porn headings. 16-year-old
Yeah,
grandpa. Like the language
So
that they
after
use.
that, they will try to
And even the type of
Want
sex
to
they have,
practice.
they have unrealistic sex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine a guy who is born by maybe, let's say, in a place where most men there are sexual abusers, right? What perception is he going to grow up having of women? He watches porn, of course he does go to school, he sees girls, he sees everywhere, but then the way that he views girls has already been tainted from his upbringing, from what media consumption, everything that is being fed to him or whatever.
True. How about those that blame the fact that they rape, or maybe they raped someone because of the influence of alcohol or drugs? They feel like they were not in their right senses,
I just
when
feel
they
like
did
alcohol
it.
makes you do crazy things, but it doesn't make you rape. That's a whole different level.
Alcohol makes you do
you
something
can
that
scream,
you didn't have
you
the
can
courage to do.
you can be bold, you can have fun, but not to rape. It's already in your mind. If you're drunk and you decide to rape somebody, you've been thinking about it since.
I wanna
True.
ask-
Alcohol just manifested it for you.
I want to ask something. Yeah. Rape is without the girl's consent, right?
Yeah.
Of sex.
Or without the guy's consent. It could be a guy as well.
So all in a situation whereby the girl is drunk, you're drunk, and you can't tell if the girl really wants to have sex with you.
Is it mutual?
Like, if we're really being honest, a drunk person cannot consent to sex. So even if someone is drunk and then they may say yes, when they wake up in the morning, that
Yeah,
doesn't count
yeah,
as consent.
Yeah.
And then now, if you're drinking together, now the lines, that is a very difficult conversation to have, especially if you're drinking together. Let's say you're in a relationship, you've been having sex, right? It's a very difficult thing to have and say, okay, was there consent if both of you were drunk? But then if, let's say for example, you were not drunk and she was drunk,
Yes.
you cannot have sex with
You cannot
someone
have
who's
True.
drunk.
sex with her.
You understand?
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I think it's just advisable for people to avoid having sex altogether when they are drunk, to avoid these situations. So as long as someone didn't verbally say, and consent can be withdrawn, like
True.
you can start making out with someone right now, right? Initially they consent, and then if they now say no during the process, they're allowed to do that.
Who's
Someone is
unconscious?
drunk, they're not really in their right mind. The decision is very blurry like that. So I think it's better you guys just sleep.
Rapists, they
Some
actually
people
look for
actually
drunk
get
girls.
good, yeah.
Some of them even like drunk these girls on purpose just to rape them.
Wow.
So that's why
That's
it's
all the
impossible to
tactics.
say that. Yeah, those are
Yeah.
all tactics. How many times do you hear of people like when I was growing up, I was always told that if you go to a place, don't drink a drink that you didn't see being open. Like if it wasn't sealed, don't
Yeah.
drink it. Because there were so many stories of girls go out,
And
you just drink a little bit, like just take a
Just
sip.
a sip.
Next thing you're waking up, you're naked, and they're telling you that you wanted it, you were dancing, you were doing all these things, and I don't
True.
remember anything. So yeah, that's how it is. So a drunk person can't really consent.
All of that. I feel like what I wear is not consent at all, because
Yeah.
it might be my style. It might be my style. Maybe I feel comfortable revealing a few cleavage. Doesn't mean
I'm asking for it.
I'm asking for sex.
I mean, it's her choice, the way she wants to dress.
Maybe you like how.
So
she
how?
dresses, that's
Okay,
not
my
really-
question is, how do you view dressing per se? Like you as an individual,
Yeah.
right? When you see a girl, like because men seem to think that when girls wear short things, they are being provocative or they're trying to be sexual. So when you see a girl dressed like the way that they would say is inappropriate, what do you think? Like
I really don't. I think it's her style or something. Maybe that's how she likes to dress or something. So I don't really read meaning into that. Be like, okay, she's dressing like that, maybe she wants me or something.
Yeah.
So I think it doesn't make sense.
People are married and their husbands are raping them 247.
And some people say, I paid your bride price, I should, you're my property.
Okay, this is not funny.
You know,
But
I feel like bride price should not be a thing because it gives men this sense of ownership towards the women. Because they feel like I paid for you, so I own you. Every part of you is mine. You know?
but that doesn't give you the right to rape me.
No,
But anyway, I don't want
it.
it.
Right, but I feel like
That
that
it perpetuates.
yes, it encourages it.
Yeah.
You're encouraging this man by taking money from them when you're about to give your child away. You know.
I think initially as a culture, like it wasn't meant for that. But then, you know, as times are changing, where in these times where men feel like the moment they spend any amount of money on a woman, they have to sleep with her. So naturally, when a man pays bride price now, he's going to be like, I'm paying bride price so that you can come, you cook for me, you clean for
Yes,
me, you have
like
sex
my
with
slave
me,
now.
even if you don't want to. And you know, even the language that is used sometimes, you know, like the way that people talk about married sex, right? Especially in Africa, before a woman goes to get married. I've heard stories where they sit her down, tell her you have to serve your husband, you have to sex him very well. That is not appropriate language. If she doesn't want to, she doesn't have to. But then the way that we are conditioning people, so that's why some people will be like, it's impossible for a husband to rape a wife. But it's very possible. If I didn't say yes, then you raped me.
Parents actually bring up their kid with fear, you know, fear me, I'll flog you, something like that. They don't actually talk most times. So even if the girl is, you know, the uncle has been making approaches towards her or something, the girl will be scared to even open up to the mom. So after it's too late, you'll now be ashamed to even reveal it more. But if they have that relationship, I think it's going to be very easy to have for her to actually tell the mom.
Even if the girl doesn't talk,
Mom, okay,
True.
this uncle is
And
going
another
to
thing again is the way
Yeah.
African parents don't teach their kids about sex.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to talk about sex.
Like
Now your child
Sex
may not
sex.
even know what's happening to her. You know, she's being abused, but she doesn't really
Know what's going on.
She doesn't know
with
the
her.
terms.
Yeah.
The uncle is saying,
Once
sit
you
on
talk-
my lap.
Yes, once you say sex is like a taboo. You don't mention it in
Yeah.
African home. That is very, very wrong. Like,
I think the whole
should talk to their kids
there
about-
needs to be a lot of sex education for children. A lot of the times, you know, this is a just in general, right? Lack of sex education like usually leads to like people being abused and not knowing about it. So of course, like when someone is going through such things, of course there's always shame. I don't know why shame exists in trauma. You know, so many people that get raped, they're always ashamed. But it's also because of the way that people treat
Society
these things.
takes
Society, exactly. So I think that people always really do need to get help. You know, if you cannot go to a therapist, at least if you find someone who seems like they're open-minded, someone you feel like you trust, someone who has probably gone through the same thing, they're more likely to be empathetic with you because they understand.
True. And if your husband is raping you, please jackpa. That's all I'm going to say. Jackpa, because from rape to hitting you, and you know the rest.
even people in relationships, you must not even be married.
Yes,
Even relationship
People
as
in
well.
relationships, they rape their girlfriends, beat them up, you know.
Slap them, beat them, goes to rape.
Next thing you know, they kill them.
Pack your bag and leave.
Exactly.
You will
How
not
many girls
die.
have been abused so many times by their boyfriends and then eventually they end up dying. These are stories that happen so many times, even wives, you know. So I think these are things that need to be identified from, like, you know, the first. People need to be educated so that the first time you see that, even before it happens, the first time you see that this situation has the potential of turning into such a situation, leave.
Okay, what about
Leave.
a situation whereby there's false accusation?
Oh Lord.
How do you know?
False accusation, like some people just come up and say, open their mouth, wow, they're like, oh, this guy raped me, and when you start tracing it, nothing like that happened. There was even a scenario like that on Instagram recently where she was like, oh, it was on this day, and it happened to be that the guy had left Nigeria on the very day. He left Nigeria on the particular day that she accused him of rape. Like, you guys should stop that thing, I beg. It's
very, very
tainting
wrong. And you're
people's
invalidating other
image.
people's story. People that were actually raped, you're affecting them because now people will say all women
Will not
lie.
believe,
They
yeah.
will not believe in women when they come out to share their story. So that's very, very wrong. Like, it's one of the worst things you can ever do.
Yeah.
And you're going to ruin somebody's life also in the process.
The problem is people always focus on the negative. So even if out of the rape stories, right, only 10% is false accusations, people are going to focus on that 10%
On those
and make sure that it
10%,
now
yes.
taints the rest of the 90%.
The rest of the 90%.
So it's always an
Exactly.
effect to real
Yeah.
victims out there.
Can we
So
talk
it's
about
very
the
wrong thing to do.
monetary aspect of this whole thing? Let's assume a young girl has been raped and then the guy comes and say, oh, I'm going to pay this amount of money for, you know, the whole situation to that. And you see African parents actually agree to collect money from someone who had just abused your daughter. Like, how can you be that heartless? Do you know what she's going through? So we need to talk about that monetary aspect as well, because some of these rich dudes be doing things.
You can collect the money and still jail the person.
Good love.
I think at the end of the day, all rapists need to face the consequences of their actions.
Yes.
Period.
But then sometimes also we undermine how traumatic it is for a victim to go through the whole process, you know, the whole going to court, trying to get justice. You know, I've read stories of women who, you know, they try to get justice for themselves, and in the court, even the judge himself will be, you know, undermining her. The things that they'll say in court, they'll try to make it seem as if she wanted it, she asked to be raped. So imagine reliving your experience like that, imagine reliving your trauma like that. So I think that's why some people end up settling. It's not necessarily that they always want the money. Some people don't take the money. Some people just take it because at the end of the day, you know, what am I going to do?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of trauma in having to seek justice for yourself, especially if no one saw you, if there was no evidence, if there was no, you know, like, it's really hard.
Especially when the person is rich, I know this person will actually win the case.
How many rape accusations of actual rapists do they go to prison? Like, you know, most of the time they always
win the case.
They always win the case.
Because there's no evidence, and I don't know,
That's why you can bring up.
And they will start bringing up, you know, other stories of girls that falsely accused men. Start comparing it, and you know, that kind of thing.
In that same court, they'll start talking
Yes.
about your dressing, your ex-boyfriend,
Yes.
your lifestyle. She's
Yeah.
she's
Yes.
always in the, you know, they will say all sorts of things.
Guys, all I'll say is if you are going through rape,
Speak up.
please speak
Abuse.
up. Like, it doesn't matter how long, you know, it has been, even they happened 100 years ago, just talk. Because bottling things up is like losing
Yeah.
yourself and killing
I
yourself.
like the rapist to rape again. So
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned one or two from this as well. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on my channel. As always, you guys should please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this video also, and leave a comment below. I'm going to leave their Instagram handles on the screen and in the description box. Please go show them some love, follow them. I have fine boys, I have fine girls. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it, and I would see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.
see you, babe.
It's bloopers now. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to let them introduce.
My name is
So then
Hi guys.
Jesus,
finish.